This is a generational heist for the Steelers as they are looking to add another defensive star to their roster. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be breaking down the latest Pittsburgh Steelers reports and analysis regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers football team. As the Steelers have looked to add another defensive star at the safety position, another name has been linked to the team. If you guys are not already currently subscribed to the channel, just click that subscribe button down below. We are trying to get to that 3,000 subscribers mark. The next veteran superstar that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been linked to is Justin Simmons, a longtime Broncos star who, he was a veteran in, Denver for a few different years. They cut ties with him last year after, he did record a pretty good season. I believe he did have like 3 or 4 picks, but they were just looking to get their roster younger, cut ties with him, and he did move to Atlanta where he did play for the Falcons last year. In an article by Nick Farborough, he does go into detail about this by saying, after trading Minkah Fitzpatrick as part of the blockbuster trade with the Miami Dolphins, could the Pittsburgh Steelers go out and make another splash play? I do think this is a possibility. The Pittsburgh Steelers have made it known that they are all in this offseason. They have brought in a ton of veteran guys to complete their roster, including obviously Aaron Rodgers, re-signed TJ Watt, a 30-year-old veteran guy who, has been pretty consistent for us, pretty great for us past couple years. Brought in Jonnu Smith, a veteran tight end, and of course Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick. But the most obvious upgrade that the Pittsburgh Steelers could make for their team at the moment is bringing in a guy like Justin Simmons. After trading away Minkah Fitzpatrick, they do have a hole on their roster at that free safety position. They did sign Juan Thornhill earlier this offseason, but he really has not really been playing too well the past couple years. Did sign a contract a few years ago with the Cleveland Browns. Didn't really play too well in Cleveland. If we go back a few years ago, he did play pretty well with the Chiefs. He is a Super Bowl champion. He may be a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he still played some pretty good football back in the day. But he's really not a great starting caliber safety. By bringing in Justin Simmons, you do guarantee yourself, a guy who has been a starter his whole career, other than his rookie year, I believe. But, he's recorded multiple picks multiple times. He's got over 30 career interceptions, and this is just an obvious choice for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make. You could probably bring this guy in on a veteran minimum deal, but according to Justin Simmons, on where he would play next year, he said, I think Atlanta, I would still pick 10 times out of 10 if I was in the same spot as last year. Simmons did say to Sean Keeler of the Denver Post, but in terms of where I am now, I'm being a little bit more picky about where I go and where I want to call home the next 2 years or a year, whatever. A contender is the number one thing on my list right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, according to some people, we are a contender in the AFC. We are a contender in the AFC North. Bringing in all these guys this offseason have proved that the Rooneys and the con artists are all in. By adding all these veterans, we're proving that, we want to win now. We don't want to keep reloading and, trying to rebuild through the draft like the Pittsburgh Steelers have done in the past. They've been a passive team in the past, kind of let people push them around, just tried to build through the draft. But obviously, in the modern day NFL, that does not work unless you are like the Philadelphia Eagles, who, they built it through the draft, but they also were aggressive in the trade market. They were able to get A.J. Brown. They were able to get a few different picks for Carson Wentz 2 years ago. They were able to get a head coach in Nick Sirianni, who I still really do not trust. I don't think he's that good. He's just got the best roster in the NFL. So, surround a coach like that with the best roster in the NFL, he's going to have a ton of success. In our case, we have a Hall of Fame coach who's been, Mr. Consistent ever since being a head coach in the National Football League. But, the past couple of years really have not surrounded him with the best talent. Bringing in Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, not really giving him a fair chance to win, giving him the best players to win. By bringing in all these veteran guys who have been proven in the past, we do actually finally give Coach Tomlin all the tools he needs to actually become, a successful, defensive-minded coach. But according to Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report, he did name the Pittsburgh Steelers as the most logical landing spot for Simmons. With that hole at safety that I was talking about and Simmons' preference for a contender, Steelers' moves have been signals a willingness to try to win in 2025. Simmons is 31, though. He is a little bit older, but he is a veteran guy, so he knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. He's played in Denver. He's played in Atlanta. So, he's played for two other franchises who are not really too good. But, coming over to Pittsburgh, he's going to play for a team that's built on defense. Already's got a Hall of Fame coach, got a Hall of Fame quarterback, got a ton of pieces around him. So, Simmons won't have to be that number one guy, that number one option on defense. He's just going to have to play his best football and expect the rest of the guys around him to also play that, great football, which I do expect them to do. We made a ton of offseason acquisitions last year and guys like Patrick Queen and some of those other guys. And this offseason, we really solidified that defense by adding guys like Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Jack Sawyer. The list goes on and on. But, if we do look at Justin Simmons and some of his stats throughout his career, last year with the Falcons, he had 62 tackles, 26 assisted tackles, only 2 interceptions. But, that's better than Minka had, and we were paying him way more than he deserved, sadly. But we will have to see what he does in Miami. Props to Minka. He just really was not worth that paycheck anymore. 1 interception in 2 or 3 years. Come on, man. So obviously he will, finish his career probably in Miami. But Justin Simmons does have a chance to come in here and really produce. If we go a few years back, in 2022, he had 6 picks, which I believe tied with Minka for the most in the NFL. But that just shows how quick, players and teams can change in the NFL. You have 6 picks in 2022, and then you're on a brand new team in 2024 with only 2 picks looking to go to another team in 2025. So, but if we do look at his stats, Justin Simmons has been consistent throughout his career. 2021, he had 5 picks. 2020, he had 5 picks. 2019, he had 4 picks. So, this guy is a ball hawk. He can get that football. So I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers, logically, if we are all in and we do have this cap space to use for bringing in these veteran guys, why not bring in a guy like Justin Simmons, who's been a proven veteran wherever he's been? He's played good football. Why not bring him in? Try him out at least. We got the whole preseason, so if this dude sucks, you just cut him. Bring in another guy or play Jalen Ramsey at that spot. But, why not give him a shot? That's what I think. And, if the Pittsburgh Steelers don't decide to do that, we still have a pretty decent safety in Deshaun Elliott, who we did lock down earlier this offseason. A physical safety, a guy who can, play the run game but can also get around the football when he needs to be. And, I'm excited because, we got these new throwbacks coming out today. And I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to continue to make moves. There have been rumors that we're still in contact with Gabe Davis. And hopefully, too, we will reach out to a guy like Justin Simmons or a guy like Julian Blackmon to add to our roster for next year. Unfortunately, that's all I have for you guys today on Steelers Digest. If you guys are not already currently subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Here we go, Steelers.